more frightening aspects of the DIY props and Punish Props Mandalorian helmet is the fact that there is no template for the visor. So what I've done here, taken a sheet of 8.5 by 11 printer paper and basically stuck it in behind the helmet, and took a red Sharpie and basically traced the lineage. I'm probably still off a little bit. I'll double check my measurements. Better to get it wrong here than to get it wrong on my actual visor piece. And I'm pleased to say that it only took 3 tries to get a template that works. As you can see, I've got the center line marked. And at this point, I got some more detail paint I want to do on the helmet, but we'll be ready for that visor. Okay, to kind of break things up, I went in and hand painted some red striping along the crest, as well as some black striping along there. I've masked off and painted in some additional striping here, as well as what will vaguely resemble a wolf's head on this side. Of course, those are still waiting for the paint to dry before I pull the masks. But at this point, we are very close to heading for sealer. All right, taking the masking off. As you can see, the hound head's a little off kilter, but that's okay. Nothing saying it had to be perfect. I did run into a slight problem with the electrical tape trying to peel the paint off the surface, but I can always deal with that as battle damage later. At this point, I think it's time to start sealing it. Okay, taking a cue from what Odin did with his helmet, and the one that I'm using for my son's, I've taken the visors, covered both sides with painter's tape to avoid scratching them while I get ready to cut out the visors. Definitely going to be careful because I've only got the 2 here, and I'm going to be using my Dremel because I don't have a bandsaw. Alright, after multiple charges of the Dremel, we have the 2 visors cut out. At this point, I'm still going to need to do at least a little bit of heat forming so I can get them to actually conform to the right shapes inside the helmets. But we are nearing the finish line here. All right, at this point, I have successfully heat formed the 2 visors. Going to clean them up a bit, mostly to get rid of some of the residue from my gloves. Mine's a little rough on the long shoot, but my son's is looking good. The good news is you can still see through both of them, which is what really matters here. At this point, we have one final step. I have to install these. Okay, at this point, the visors are in place. Surprisingly still visible, or still see-through, I should say. We now have 2 complete Mandalorian helmets. My son's heavy infantry derived helmet with the blue and red. All in all, I'm glad I tackled these first. At the same time, there's some things I probably would have done differently. My son was actually going to recommend heat forming the visors before I cut them, which probably would have been a smarter idea. But I found out about that advice a little late. My own helmet is also ready. There's still some rough spots in the colors from where the sealer tried to craze the paint. I don't know what it is, but that red paint, or that red spray paint, does not like sealer. This one was the DIY / Punish Props Mandalorian helmet, or Boba Fett helmet. Can work either way. Surprisingly, you can actually see fairly well through the visor, but I don't recommend going into a dark room because, yeah, you're not going to see a whole lot or very well. You've actually got a fairly decent field of vision, which pleasantly surprised me. Now, I'm going to go ahead and throw some stills of the finished helmets at the end of this, and thank you all for watching.